Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing the latest version of the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Day-Date. This is the 128345 RBR, Ever Rose Red Gold with combination of gem set rosé dial and paved bezel. The timepiece measuring a compact and traditional 36 millimeters in diameter by 12.1 millimeters thick by 43.5 millimeters lug tip to lug tip. And if you add the outermost measurements of the end links of the bracelet, it is exactly 45 millimeters across the wrist with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw the watch on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see it wears quite nicely, perfectly proportioned as it has been since the mid-1950s. The 36 millimeter Day-Date is the executive's watch, the president's watch, the watch for the flamboyant head of state. This is a timepiece that speaks to the gravitas of the owner, but does so without excess bulk. It's nowhere near the size of a Sea Dweller, a GMT, a Submariner, or an Explorer 2, and yet it has a commanding presence. It's thin, though. It'll fit underneath any kind of dress sleeve or cuff, and from edge to edge, it's narrow enough that you could easily wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13 centimeters in circumference, so it is a unisex option. This generation of the President bracelet, on both the 40 and the 36, there are ceramic pins inside the links that mean there is no more stretch. The ceramic cannot be worn down by the gold links, so bracelet stretch is dead with this generation of President bracelet. And while the watch is nicknamed the President, the bracelet truly is called the Rolex President bracelet. It has the structural integrity of a sports bracelet with the narrow link souplesse of the Jubilee. It's the best of both worlds. Polished center, satin shoulders, a little bit of a taper, polished outer faces, and removable links are fixed in place by screws. We have the crown clasp, which traditionally marks the break point of the bracelet. Using only the 5-point coronet, it's otherwise completely seamless. And then there's a lift lock system. You actually have a beak and a hook inside the clasp, so when it latches shut. It's not a friction fit system. It needs to be unlocked before it'll pop open. Very secure. Rolling over to the case band, it's fluid, it's graceful, it has compound curves, it has wonderful bowed sides and tapered polished lugs. It's anything but the super case seen on many of the Rolex sports watches. Twin lock crown in gold, you know that because you see the two dots. This is a twin lock in gold with a 100-meter water resistance screw down crown, brilliant cut diamonds in the bezel, optically scanned so they have exactly the same color and clarity. There's no gradient or difference between them. You can also see the dial is what Rolex calls rosé. It is a rose gold sunburst with actual gold indices on which baguette and brilliant cut gems are mounted. You can see the little Rolex crown between Swiss and Made at 6 o'clock, a feature that Rolex has rolled out on new model generations launched since 2018. The watch includes rose gold hands, rose gold Rolex coronet, and a double quick set system for the date as well as the day, so you never have to spin the hour hand to change those. There's also a hacking seconds function. And underneath the solid Oyster caseback, we have Rolex caliber 3255. Automatic winding bidirectional, now with a rotor bearing rather than the older and somewhat more fragile jeweled staff. It also has a 70-hour power reserve thanks to many refinements, especially a larger mainspring and the Rolex Chronergy Liga-etched escapement. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, pivots on 31 joules. It is a COSC chronometer, but it's more. Rolex takes the chronometer certified movement, puts it in the watch case, tests it in 6 positions, and ensures that as a fully assembled watch, it will run no worse than -2 + 2 seconds per 24 hours. That is the basis for that term superlative chronometer in the post-2015 era. And the watch also has a full balance bridge with a free-sprung index for shock tolerance, a handmade Breguet overcoil hairspring to keep excellent and even time in any physical position, and then that hairspring is a blue oxidized niobium zirconium alloy called parachrom blue in Rolex speak that is highly anti-magnetic. All of this encased in Rolex's own Ever Rose Red Gold. High copper content to make it red, high platinum content so it will never fade. Rolex has its own foundry, it smelts its own gold, it makes its own clasps, bracelets, and cases. So this watch is Rolex through and through. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.